Hey everyone, so as some of you may already know, I live in Canada, and our lovely Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is doing whatever he can to make Canada the cuck capital of the world. Canada is a multicultural nation, as opposed to the US where assimilation is preferred. Trudeau says, diversity is our strength. Now the multiculturalism versus assimilation debate can be saved for another time. Right now, I want to show you something on this topic that really bothered me. At Queen's University in Kingston, Ontario, students are getting put on blast for participating in a world-themed costume party.
The costume party included people dressed up as Buddhist monks, Viet Cong fighters, and in prison-style jumpsuits while wearing Mexican sombreros. The photo showed up on the Facebook page of a student. It's believed the party was on Saturday night in a neighborhood just next to the Queen's University campus in Kingston, Ontario.
It's the same news story that happens repeatedly across the continent. Last year, the Christakises were pressured to quit their administrative positions at Yale after they dared to question the politically correct agenda of banning Halloween costumes that culturally appropriate. Social justice warrior students showed their true colors when Nick Christakis tried to debate them.
By sending out that email, that goes against your position as master. Do you understand that?
No, I don't agree with that.
Then why the fuck did you accept the position?
Because
Who
I have
the fuck hired you?
I have a different
You
vision
should
than you.
step down. If that is what you think about being a master, you should step down. It is not about creating an intellectual space. It is not about creating an intellectual space.
And since the Canadian media usually pushes PC narratives, their articles showed obvious bias against the people who attended the party. They explain how it makes people feel unwelcome, how the university administrators denounced it, and then they interview a few people who are under the pressure of social scrutiny. Now, the privacy settings of these pictures on Facebook were set to friends of friends. This activist, Celestium, saw these pictures on Facebook and started tweeting the pictures with captions describing how disgusted she was by their racism. Apparently, she's a Toronto-based comedian with a couple articles in Huffington Post. At 17 years old, she's griping about how she feels dehumanized every time someone makes an Asian joke. Instead of looking inwards and fixing her own neuroses, she projects it onto the world. And now she's trying to make a name for herself by finding anyone she can to shame with her ideology. It's pretty pathetic if you ask me. Here's one of her quotes. "You cannot divorce dressing up in rice hats from racism against Asian people. It just doesn't work that way. And it's pretty shocking that that's so hard for people to understand." She seems pretty humorless for a comedian.
Welcome to the rice fields, motherfucker!
Now I could see how people might get angry if students were LARPing as Nazis on the quad, but it just seems so ridiculous to get offended by things regardless of their context, especially within the context of this private party where the costumes were agreed upon as being in jest. This should not be an issue. This activist thinks she has the moral superiority to instruct society on what is acceptable. She's acting in bad faith because what she is doing is actually just creating a bigger racial divide. Now, I have no problem sharing Canada with people of other ethnicities, provided that the migrant cultures respect Canada enough to integrate with the other groups, and they should respect and appreciate the value of free speech and not overplay the race or religion card to the point where people are no longer thinking critically. How is this multiculturalism experiment supposed to work if race and religion are so taboo that you can't even joke about it without being called ignorant or a racist? People like this comedian are just fueling animosity and using shame tactics to push their agenda. They subjugate the minorities that they claim to protect by labeling them as victims of constant racism, and then they take up their cause while feeling like some kind of hero. Canadian news outlets like Vice Canada make every minor racial event out to be a racist tragedy, and most people in the comment sections are always trashing them for it. There must be some good money in doing this, or else they would have stopped when their readers started complaining. Even all the top comments in Huffington Post are bashing this nonsense. Celeste Yim wrote a piece in the Globe and Mail on Friday regarding this incident. Listen to how indoctrinated she is with leftist rhetoric and an unhealthy victim complex. All my senses felt on high alert, as though I were about to be assaulted. These were images out of nightmares for those who have experienced firsthand how racism looks, feels, and tastes. Tastes yucky. White people live in a world where they're the only ones protected against intolerance, and yet some deem themselves authority on what is racist and what is not. Wow. It didn't seem like white people were protected from your intolerance right there. It's this history of privilege from long before my tweets, which make the carelessness of that party so upsetting. Only a person in a privileged position would have the entitlement to take offense to something as trivial as a racially themed costume party. Jesus Christ. Lefty bonus points for mentioning Donald Trump at the end. And all the top comments on our article are trashing her. Globe and Mail publishes an article by this guy, Gary Mason, telling her to chill the fuck out. All the top comments are praising him for bringing in some common sense. These are interviews CBC did with some students at Queen's University. A lot of the students seem uncomfortable because talking about race on the news has them walking on eggshells.
Yeah, extremely inappropriate. Just because you can't, like, just make up caricatures of a culture and just say, no, we're appreciating it. No, you're not. You're mocking it. People aren't dumb, right? I think that comes from a general lack of understanding of the need to understand other people's cultures, because Queens is a very homogenous campus for the most part. I know I'm an exception to that, but I guess, like, from my undergrad experience where I'm from and whatnot, just the, like, being in more contact with other cultures and races, you kind of have more of an understanding of where is the line, what's appreciation, what's mockery. It definitely represents a small part of the uneducated group who just, like, say it's all in good fun when it really isn't.
Good answer, boy. Here's your cookie. Listen, kid. Friends like to poke fun at each other. How are all these different groups going to live together and make diversity their strength if poking fun at each other's differences is going to cause World War III? At least he gave the media exactly what they were looking for.
It's definitely a joke in poor taste, and it's not right in present society. I think we can do better. We should do better, especially as not just members of Queens, but as Canadians generally.
Okay, sure. It's not right in modern society. Let's just erase history, race, culture. Let's take away all those things from the jokes we can make. Everyone will be better off if we never make a joke about the things that alienate us from each other. Jesus Christ. These people don't think about the logic behind the things they say.
I personally wouldn't participate in it. I think it's important to be culturally sensitive.
Good answer. You didn't blabber on like this guy did. You just said the words you needed to say without committing wrongthink. Good job. Here's your cookie. This next guy seems like he wanted to speak out against the ridiculous outrage, but he did so in a tactful manner so that he doesn't get in trouble by the thought police.
My problem with the situation is that there's public outrage against, like, people are attacking other people, and we shouldn't be attacking each other. It should just be like a neutral discussion on how to improve.
He wants to bring back some sanity to these discussions, and these people that he's referring to that are doing the attacking are most likely the SJWs, because they're the ones who are calling everyone racist. This guy also wants to back away from the hysteria.
The school and the students have to look into what the original intention of it was, and also, like, what, as I said before, what the consequences were of the event based on the intentions.
SJWs disregard your intentions if you say the wrong words or share the wrong views. But intentions are important, and maybe we should look at the intentions behind the people pushing this story. Why is CBC covering every insignificant racial conflict and then blowing it out of proportion? Manufacturing outrage is probably good business for the media shills. Not to mention they're probably paid a lot to be on board with globalist immigration policies. That might just be my tinfoil hat talking.
Defeat the globalists who want to shatter your mind!
And this comedian is more likely getting more attention from this than from her comedy. She's moving up in the world from whining about Asian jokes on Huffington Post to shaming her peers on the internet for attention. I'm sure she believes what she's preaching, but I don't doubt that there's some ulterior motives behind her participation in the grievance industry. What are all your intentions?
I think people rightfully are allowed to be offended.
Well, no shit. What about the right to be offensive?
I mean, people are allowed to say how they feel. That is a human right, to express how you feel.
Like the people at the costume party?
I don't think I can necessarily answer if it's been blown out of proportion, because, like, I totally have been in that place where I've felt uncomfortable, and obviously this is an expression of people feeling uncomfortable on Queen's campus.
This guy doesn't want to be a victim like the folks who got offended, but now he's forced to think down to their level in order to sympathize with their self-pity. They're fucking with people's heads.
Defeat the globalists who want to shatter your mind!
This isn't a problem necessarily specific to Queens. I think other campuses probably have similar issues relating to race on their campuses, and they should be addressed, especially in the times that we live in now. Considering Trump's victory, race is top of mind for everyone. So it seems interesting that it happened at this specific point in time.
Ooh, good boy. That's a great answer, because Trump is a racist. Good boy. You get 3 cookies. What really bothers me about this is that party looks like it was a lot of fun. Why do people always have to ruin the fun with their bullshit? Think about how awesome that party would be. You're all dressed up as different groups. Like the Viet Cong rice pickers probably had a stock of math jokes and dog-eating jokes. Some of these people probably researched the culture and performed what they learned. Everybody's loose because they're drinking. They're all showing off their senses of humor. People are talking about race in a way where they're not at each other's throats. I don't have much sympathy for people who get offended by shit like this. You have a choice to be offended. I have little respect for people who adopt a victim mindset and then manipulate the people around them to stoop down to their level. Even if you are offended, at least realize that not everyone agrees with you. People have different tastes and senses of humor. Your freedom to criticize does not mean that you should try to ruin other people's lives because you disagree with them. Like, oh my god, these costumes are like so offensive. They're making me sick. Like, I'm gonna vomit, seriously. I'm gonna tweet all these pictures with a caption telling everyone how racist they are. Oh my god, is that guy wearing blackface? What? Wait, no, that's a real black guy. Heck, I say I should throw a party with half white people and half black people, and all the black people go whiteface, and all the white people go blackface. And then a white-faced black guy is like, hello, my name is Dave, and I like to look out my window and yell at niggers when they get too close to my lawn. Everyone has a good laugh, and then a black-faced white kid is like, yo, it's J-Mo. I'm a badass nigga. Spit out fire to cop my mixtape. That would be a great time. I think that would be culturally enriching. Blacks and whites would have a new respect for each other after that party.
While we do our thing, give me 6 feet, nigga. Better take a picture, this is history, nigga. I'm busy getting money, you can't miss me, nigga.
Sounds like you've had some practice.
I rap a little.
Maybe this idea is a bit ahead of its time. I'll come back to it later. Overall, I hope this cultural attitude of freaking out over microaggressions and cultural appropriation will quiet down. The more people focus on getting offended as a group, the worse tensions will get as a multicultural society grows. Whatever happened to friends busting each other's balls over race? Shows like Tough Crowd with Colin Quinn or Opie and Anthony have people openly discussing race and busting each other's balls over it. Stupid social justice warriors, stop trying to infantilize us. I think a lot of people are sick of the loud SJW minority hijacking the media to push their regressive agenda. Fuck off. Anyways, that's all for this video, folks. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I think I've been inspired to buy my own costumes and culturally appropriate some kooky characters in my future videos. We'll see where that takes us. Peace out, faggots.